What up, African family? It's Home Team here, and I'm back at it with my series, A Closer Look. This video today was made due to a request from a special Patreon supporter, and I wanted to honor that request. So special shout out to Auspicious Agile. Thanks for the request. Today, we're going to take a closer look at the Ijebu people of Nigeria. And as always, if you want access to sources, courses, and exclusive videos, or if you simply want to support the home team in animated projects, you can do so on patreon.com. The link is in the description box below. The Ijebu people primarily inhabit Ogun State in southwestern Nigeria. Though exact population figures are hard to come by, it appears that more than 800,000 people consider themselves Ijebu. The Ijebus are considered by many to be a subgroup of the larger Yoruba peoples. Now, the origin of the Ijebu is largely shrouded in mystery for the outside world, but the Ijebu themselves don't share this confusion. It's generally believed that the province now called Ijebu was at one time a desolate, uninhabited forest that was later populated by 3 waves of migration from the east. The east they speak about was called Wadai in Sudan, and others even claim they came from the Middle East. Sultan Bello of the Sokoto Empire in Nigeria actually made a comment concerning the origin of the Ijebu in the 19th century. He said, "The inhabitants of this province, Yoruba, it is supposed, originated from the remnant of the children of Canaan who were of the tribe of Nimrod. The cause of their establishment in the west of Africa was, as it is stated, in consequence of their being driven by Yoruba, son of Khatan, out of Arabia to the west coast between Egypt and Abyssinia. From that spot, they advanced into the interior of Africa until they reached Yarba, where they fixed their residence." Now, most Ijebus don't claim direct descent from the biblical character of Nimrod, but the Sultan of Bello did a pretty good job summing up the claims of the Ijebu themselves. The oral history of the Ijebu is of interest to us simply because of how persistent it is. There even exists a proposed map as to where they claim they migrated. Some African scholars in the region itself can attest to this idea. It seems to only be a debate as to whether they migrated from Sudan or the Middle East. However, of course, scholars aren't exactly sure, and there seems to be large-scale international resistance and hesitance to validate these claims. But all in all, despite what we may believe, the Ijebu oral tradition is unmoved. In fact, one traditional ruler of Ijebu land, when asked about the origin of the Ijebus, further drove home the point, "Well, you see, we are the Jews of Africa." The Ijebus, along with their Yoruba counterparts, have a very intriguing oral tradition, to say the least. More conservative Ijebus, however, maintain their origin in Sudan, so we can't be exactly sure. Nobody knows the date of the first migration to Ijebu or the course that it took. Tradition states that it was led by a man named Olu-Iwa, accompanied by 2 warrior companions, Ijebu and Olode. Olu-Iwa settled at Iwade, for Ijebu Ode itself did not as yet exist. Ijebu was instructed to mark out with fire the boundary of the new land. He went westward to the lagoon and marked out the boundaries to the north, south, and east as well. To Olode was given the task of marking out and planning the future city, a task which took him more than 3 years. So well did Ijebu and Olode do their work that the new town was named after them, Ijebu Olode, now corrupted and called Ijebu Ode. There seems to be ample evidence in favor of this tradition. In Ijebu Ode today, there stands in a prominent place in Olode Street a tomb dedicated to him and bearing the inscription, "The Resting Place of Olode." In Amipe Street, there can be seen a tomb dedicated to the memory of Ijebu. It may be taken for granted that these 2 men are historical figures whose names have been perpetuated in the name of the city. The Ijebu, through their many migrations into the region, formed a kingdom. The kingdom was said to be well developed and organized. Modern traditions trace large population movements into the region to about 1000 BC. The kingdom profited from a series of migrations from other kingdoms. At different times, different war leaders, princes, and other notables led migration movements to the kingdom. However, the largest migration was said to have been led by Oluiwa around 100 BC. Going by different traditions of origin, one can safely argue that the peopling of the Ijebu geographical space was a result of a series of migrations led by different peoples at different times. Ijebu people of Ogun State, Nigeria, are famous for the production of gari. Among the forest people of Nigeria, cassava production remains the most enduring occupation. In fact, the Ijebu people are noted for their peculiar skills in the production of suitable cassava flour. In other words, agriculture remains the major occupation of the people. Similar to other Yoruba societies, the Ijebu political system was essentially monarchical. At the top of the political pyramid of the Ijebu people is the Oba. In theory, the Oba exercise absolute power. Practically, there are a number of checks and balances that limit the power of the Oba. In Ijebu land, 4 societies are central to the day-to-day administration of the kingdom: the Osogbo, Ilamurin, Pampa, and Odi societies. The Ilamurin is the supreme ruling council of the kingdom and also performs legislative functions for the kingdom. The Osogbo society is the most important judicial organ of the Ijebu kingdom. All criminal cases are referred to the court for adjudication. Deliberations of cases are not open to members of the public except for its initiates. The Pampa's principal function is the supervision of markets across Ijebu land. They ensure that markets are in order, settle disputes, and ensure fair trade. The Odi society completes the administrative arm of the kingdom. Odi members are basically the messengers of the Owujale. They run diplomatic and political errands for the monarch. They also serve as an important link between the Awujale and the other societies, and between the Awujale and the people. The Ijebu culture witnessed much transformation in the 19th and 20th centuries as a result of European incursion. The Ijebu people are very industrious and are famous for their hard work. They are also famous for being financially prudent and are noted for a high taste for social life. Since the 19th century, the Ojude Oba festival remains the high point of their Sala celebration. Ijebu was the last kingdom to be annexed by the colonial government in 1892 after the famous Amagbon War. The Anglo-Ijebu War opened the kingdom to colonialism. The people also participated in the decolonization process. Notable Ijebu people participated actively in the independence movement. One of these people was Chief Obafemi Awolowo, the founder of the Action Group and the first premier of the Western region. Other notable Ijebu are Adiolo Adutolo and Oba Akesanya, who was an active participant in the Nigerian youth movement. Well, I'm all out, guys. If you like these videos and want to learn more about African history and show some support, you can do so on patreon.com. The link is in the description box below. Know thyself. Remember your ancestors. Peace.